Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250. Welcome back. So I do need to start off with a little bit of a talk here. The next hour of this recording, I did not record. I actually, I played through it. I recorded the audio. I've got that saved. But I did not start the video recording. I figured it out before the end of this chapter, which is where we're going to be stopping at the end of today. But there is about an hour after this point that I did not record video. But I really like the initial reactions I had to it, and I'd hate to have to re-record that. So, what we're going to do, I've got, on my tablet over here, I've got the audio file of me talking loaded up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and record me playing through the visual novel, not talking, doing my best to follow along with the audio. Keep in mind, I'm probably going to, on occasion, not go as fast or go too fast compared to what I'm saying. So if it seems out of sync, that's why. There's also the potential where I may mess up pretty bad, so I may have to pull up the log to look at text that we just read to, that I accidentally skipped over. Or, if I sit here talking for a minute, I may, I don't remember everywhere where I stop to talk, so I may have to go back and pull up the log or wait for a second on, the wrong screen, if that makes sense. So, just be patient. Sorry. It's an hour, I know. But I'll do my best to try to line it up as best I can. And if anything doesn't quite make sense, just keep in mind that I am doing my best to sync my voice to the video that we're about to record here. So without any further ado, I'm going to pick up with the audio here and do my best to get started. Hey guys, welcome back to KHC's funeral. Like I said, this will be in just a moment for you guys, but for me, it has been about, let's say 10 hours. It's starting to become dusk, which I would say is a pretty decent time to continue on with this, considering I started it in the morning. So, let's proceed. I quickly realized it was the damn site. The fact that I dashed madly and ended up in a place like this gave me a bad feeling, like I was following someone's scripted plot. I had a good view of my surroundings, but I didn't see a single soul out here. This was a terrible spot for someone on the run, but there was no better place for an attacker. My heart was already on the verge of bursting. The muscles in my legs were screaming. But I didn't care. If I stopped here, then they might not even be able to... If I stopped here, then I might not even be able to scream for much longer? I don't know who they is. Even still, I glanced back, looking for an excuse to rest. Rena wasn't there. Instead, I saw two villagers walking around. Whoops. I breathed a sigh of relief that it wasn't Rena, but a third party. Except the voice inside me rang the alarm once again. Villagers walking around weren't suspicious in and of themselves, but it bothered me. They both wore rough-looking clothes. Empty-handed, they definitely gave the impression that they were just out for a walk. But at this time of day, two adults wandering around without a purpose. It was enough to raise questions. But more than anything else, those eyes. They weren't chit-chatting while walking. They were both silent, heading forward, looking in my direction. Was I at the end of my rope, and had finally started imagining things? I should run away. That was probably the best choice. If they weren't involved, I'd lose them easily by running. If they were part of the group after me, then they would come running after me. Either way, unless I hurried up, Rena would catch up with me. That's right. I was going to run. Deciding that, the moment I began to turn tail, both of them rushed towards me as if they knew exactly what I was thinking. Somewhere inside of me, I jumped to the conclusion that Rena was the only thing I needed to be afraid of. I made the assumption that I didn't need fear anything else. But right now, I realized just how blatantly wrong I was. Suddenly, the story Oishi-san told me about the demons all leaving the village to hunt prey floated through the back of my mind. I could tell they were both coming after me without even turning around because of their frantic footsteps. It was frightening, being unable to shake Rina off as she slowly closed in on me. But this didn't even compare. Being pursued with such violent ferocity, this straightforward horror was unparalleled. One of the pursuer's arms grazed my shoulder. Now it wasn't just their frenzied footsteps, but also the distinct sound of their breathing that I could hear. No, I could practically feel them breathing on me. They were already right behind me. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. Still running at full tilt, I felt the surrounding area go still. No, it felt like time itself had stopped. I turned my head back slightly in that frozen world, realizing how close my pursuers had gotten to me. I couldn't win against the legs of an adult. In less than the time it would take to blink twice, when this frozen time began moving again, they'd be right on top of me. On top of me, and then... Don't think about that, Keiichi. First, realize that you won't be able to shake them off like this. If the fact that you can't get away was a given, then you need to make a decision. Go with the right leg, or go with the left. You just need to decide which one. Let's go with the left. The moment I decided that, the temporal singularity burst into pieces. Right. Left. I swung the bat in a wide arc with my right arm, using that inertia. I stopped and suddenly spun.
No!
The two of them were clearly startled. Momentarily losing sight of me, both of their outstretched arms ready to grab me, instead grasped an empty space. The man on the right, I applaud him for being able to figure it out, spun around to the spot I shouldn't have been, and faced me in astonishment. But it was too late. I didn't even need to swing my bat. All I needed to do was extend my arms as I turned around. It was by no means a heavy blow, but it seemed like it had enough power behind it to knock him off his feet. But just knocking him down wasn't enough to scare him away. He got back up in no time. Both of them took a fighting stance and were ready to face me. This made me certain they weren't just two people out for a walk. They were clearly after me. It felt much easier than dealing with Rina. Just by not recognizing their faces, by not knowing them, it made things easier. I smiled wryly on the inside.
俺に何か用かよ。次は眉間にお見舞いするぞ、この野郎。
It's fine if it was just a bluff. By barking out at them, I was able to fire myself up. They didn't respond. They spread out to either side of me with unbelievably calm expressions on their faces. One of them would grab onto my bat, and the other would hold me down. Was that their plan? Taking on both of them at once would be impossible. I don't know. You had like some spinning technique going on there. Can you just like do a spin attack like Link? Just to knock everyone down? Hot sweat poured from every pore in my body. Then I'd just have to settle it with the first move. I'd step in and strike the first one down. Narrowing my target down to the man on the right who had already been knocked down before, I stepped in and swung with all my might. There was no way for an unarmed person to guard against it. It would cause immense damage. If they blocked it with their arm, their bone would snap like a twig. If they turned their back to it, then it was possible that the blow would travel all the way to their vital organs. It looked like he was aware of this. He pushed farther through the kill zone between us, and delivered a fist right into my gut. Not good. With this distance, in this position, and in this state, there was no way for me to dodge it. And that was the sound it made? The world flipped upside down. I understood that I was being tossed around like a rag doll. I landed on the soft earth without a sound, feeling the grainy soil press against my face. It didn't hurt at all. But the moment I thought that, I suddenly felt pain coming from the abrasions on my skin, as well as the contents of my stomach being forced upwards, flooding my mouth with a bitter sensation. I knew very well that I didn't have the time to relish this experience. Because, I mean, it's a great experience. Definitely want to relish that. I stood up as quickly as I could, but at that moment, the other man was already barreling towards me. Being able to comprehend calmly that I simply couldn't dodge it made it all the more upsetting. After plowing into my stomach full force once again, my assailant twisted around behind me and locked his thick arm around my neck. My throat felt like it was being crushed by his immense strength. I couldn't even contemplate that I was being strangled, or that I was about to go unconscious. My vision simply darkened, and a silent whining noise began playing deep inside my mind. It took everything I had to keep myself from blacking out. While this was happening, the other man was more than likely standing in front of me. I wasn't able to open my eyes, but I could feel that he was there. There was nothing I could do now. Unable to shake this arm off me, I couldn't run. I couldn't fight back. Dire straits. I couldn't even come up with a phrase that adequately described my situation. Are we dead yet? I don't think I'm dead. A familiar ceiling. The smell of the bed and pillows. I knew them well. Was this my room? Normally there wouldn't be anyone in my room besides me, but their presence made me spring wide awake. When I did that, pain shot throughout my entire body. Oh no, we're gonna die now! It's what you'd like, wouldn't it? Why was Rena in my room? Blood began to surge through my muscles and my capillaries. But Rena's smile belonged to the Rena I knew well. I knew I shouldn't let myself feel this way, but I relaxed, thinking that this version of Rena was safe.
俺はどうして
覚えてないの？
意識がなくなってからのことは全然。
My body had become more lethargic than I ever could have imagined. I guess that would be the expected outcome after exerting everything I had back there. I tried to at least clear my head, but I just couldn't shake the sluggish feeling out of my mind.
一応お医者さんにも電話したから、もうすぐ来ると思うよ。それまで横になってた方がいいと思うな。
I wasn't injured seriously enough to merit calling a doctor, but knowing that someone impartial was coming was slightly reassuring.
俺どうしてここにいるんだ？
Assuming they are, of course, a doctor.
ダム現場で。
それはレナが聞きたいな。何があったのかな。レナが行った時にはケイチ君倒れてて。
だから聞きたいのは俺の方だよ。変な二人組に襲われて。
You know, the choking weirdos? As I talked about it, I finally remembered what happened right before I passed out. Recalling that memory and the terror that went along with it caused the fogginess around my head to clear right up. Let's forget about those two for now. I didn't expect Rena to be nursing me. I thought Rena was trying to kill me. She would have had the perfect chance while I was unconscious. Well, why would you want to kill him when he's unconscious? You can't feel the pure unbridled terror when he's, not paying attention. Not only did she not kill me, she had nursed me back to health.
よく俺を引きずってここまで来れたな。重かったろ。
Looking at Rena's delicate frame, it was hard to believe that she had not only gotten me back home, but even dragged me all the way up to the second floor. Did she have some help?
ケイチ君、覚えてないの？
Rena appeared a bit surprised, but still kept her smile.
レナはケイチ君に肩を貸しただけだよ。大丈夫、自分で歩けるってケイチ君が。覚えてない？
I didn't remember. My memory was fuzzy after the point where I lost consciousness.
二人組はどうした？レナが来た時、俺と一緒に、あるいはそばに二人組の男が。
いなかったよ。
Suspicious. She said it bluntly. The way she stated it felt slightly unpleasant. I was just too timid at that time. I might have been able to force some answers out of Rena. But if I did that, then this kind Rena might transform into the scary Rena who I didn't know. Fearing that, I didn't press any further. Thinking about it, it was the obvious choice. If both of those men were there, I don't think Rena would have even stood a chance. I couldn't find a way to explain it unless I assumed she brought me here after those two were already gone. Rena was still smiling. Her eyes sparkled warmly. Yet, I felt like I was hallucinating when I saw something akin to a shadow slowly creeping across her face. That small omen sent shivers down my spine. While Rena was still Rena, I needed to make contact. I needed to contact Oishi-san. Rena stopped me when I tried to get out of bed. She said it would aggravate my wounds, so I should sleep.
トイレに行きたいんだけどな。
ごめん。
Rena couldn't say anything else. While Rena stayed in the room, I quickly went downstairs to get the phone receiver in the living room. That's an obvious one, Kate. She's gonna find the empty phone receiver cradle or whatever. She's gonna know. Oh no, the doorbell! The doorbell makes me a little nervous. When I approached the front door, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. It must have been the doctor Rena had called. It was strange for a patient to welcome in a doctor who was making a house call. But it would be incredibly reassuring to have him here for the considerable time it would take Oishi-san to get here. I carelessly opened the door with that simple assumption, and regretted it almost instantly.
ミオン。
You're not the doctor!
あれ？元気そうだね。倒れてたって言うから様子見に来たんだけど。
なんで俺が倒れてたって知ってるんだよ。
レナが電話してきたから。他に理由が必要？
I understood why she would call a doctor. But why Mion too? Rena was descending the stairs behind me.
レナ、ケイちゃん大丈夫そうだよ。たく、心配して損した。
そうだね。レナも心配して損したかな。
They both began laughing. It appeared to be cheerful laughter, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a darkness looming over them.
うわ、なにこの下駄箱。どうしてたの？
The shoe rack that I'd smashed to pieces had been like that since yesterday.
転んでさ。
Man, you fell hard.
その拍子に持ってたバットで叩いちゃったんだよ。
持ち慣れないもん振り回してるからこういうことになるんだよ。
I kept the fact that it was none of her business to myself.
でもこれじゃおばさまたちが帰ってきたらびっくりしちゃうね。後でレナが片付けておくね。
さあ、ほらケイちゃん、重病人なんだからちゃんと寝てないとダメだよ。さあさあ、お布団に戻った。
I gotta pee. Both of them urged me up the stairs. I had no chance to call Oishi-san. I was pushed into my bed. As it was the first time Mion had been in my room, she began searching around it intently. She fiddled around my room and was scolded by Rina. You can imagine how it went. It was uncomfortable having my room poked around, but the conversation was so benign that it was heartwarming. During that innocent conversation, Mion said something as though it was perfectly ordinary.
レナ、監督には電話した？
みーちゃんに電話した後すぐにね。すぐ来るって言ってたよ。
Yeah, who's the manager? The manager of the killing squad? That out-of-place word gave me a bad feeling. Rina called a doctor, then called Mion. And after that, she called a manager? Who was this manager? Since Rina and Mion's conversation was so peaceful, it only felt slightly odd.
二人とも何の話をしてるんだよ。監督ってなんだよ。
ケイちゃんしんどいの？監督って言ったら監督だよ。
映画の監督とか工事現場の監督とか。
Oh, good. Ah, that's nice. I dug through all of my memories for a manager who might have business with me. Only one thing came to mind. What Rina had just said. The construction site foreman. The very first victim of the first incident. The dismemberment at the damn construction site. The foreman? But that was strange. He was supposed to be dead. There was no way that they could call him.
お前らが何の話をしてるのかわからないよ。その監督が
Are we gonna get the
Ouija
board? The Ouija board? The Luigi board out?
来るって言ったけど、うちに来るのか？
I asked one obvious question after another. But all the two of them did was smile coolly at each other. There was a huge difference between how the two of them appeared and how my suspicions were playing out. Slowly, I felt discomfort and panic swelling up inside me. I couldn't understand what Rina and Mion were talking about.
ケイちゃん、最近は野球に凝ってるんだよね。監督、それ聞いたら喜ぶと思うな。
Who's the manager?
だから、監督って誰だよ。
監督は監督さんだよ。
Rina, why?
だから、
Who is
監
the
督って
manager?
誰だよ。
That wasn't funny. There is no punchline. Rina and Mion looked at each other and laughed haughtily. That disturbing cackle unpleasantly resounded around me. Or maybe, they're just like a bunch of teenage girls that are giggling at each other and then giggling at the fact that they were giggling. Maybe it's all perfectly benign. That laugh, long enough to be unsettling, ended abruptly.
そうだ。監督が来る前に済ませとくかな。ケイちゃん、覚えてるかい？
Her face was laughing, but Mion's eyes told a different story.
覚えてるって何をだよ。
ケイチくん忘れちゃったのかな。罰ゲームなんだよ。罰ゲームなんだよ。忘れちゃったのかな。おはぎの宿題。どれがレナの作ったおはぎかを当てる宿題。あれ、確か宿題忘れだったよね。
I certainly did have that homework. But I had thrown away the rest of the mochi after I found that sewing needle. So I wasn't able to answer which one Rina made. The penalty for that? Why now? Mochi's no laughing matter, kids. No doubt my question was written all over my face. Their answer to my question was that dry laughter. I could no longer make heads or tails of anything. I began to think that this entire day was somehow insane. Strange. Incomprehensible. Being chased by Rina. Attacked by strange men. The penalty Mion and Rina were talking about. Is the penalty unending laughter? Just like incessant laughter by girls? What were these two laughing at? It didn't take that long for me to realize I'd been dragged into an abnormal situation. Who were these two? Who are these people? Who are these doppelgangers of Rina and Mion? Hey Rina, what are you doing? Rina had gotten behind me at some point. Why was she pinning my arms behind my back? The penalty, Keiichi.
罰ゲームだから。
That's pretty much what I said. She did a little bit better though. My body was already very sluggish, and Rina pinning my arms made it that much harder to move. I seriously tried to struggle, but she wouldn't even budge. My panic began to well up, and I realized that this was well beyond the realm of jokes and pleasantries. This freakishly monstrous strength. It would have been impossible for the Rina I knew. Then these thin, frail arms grasping me firmly. Whose arms were they?
ケイちゃん、抵抗しちゃダメだよ。快速大何錠でもいいや。罰ゲームに抵抗しちゃダメなんだからさ。
Mion. No, that thing that looked like Mion. Spoke to me like how Mion would speak to me. But I was certain that this was not Mion. Someone who wasn't Mion. Someone who was just pretending to be Mion.
監督が来る前に済まさないとね。
It's gonna get freaky in here. Mion fished into her pockets and pulled out something bizarre. I could tell what it was just by looking. But for such a thing to be in her pocket, my mind wouldn't accept it.
なんだよ、それ。
It was a small syringe. This is definitely a step up from your regular penalties. I'm already getting a slightly sick feeling. Like this is gonna make me really squeamish. I can tell. It was a small, clear syringe, the kind a doctor might use if you went to them with a high fever. Rina held me even tighter, and I could hear that clattering laughter that no longer sounded like laughter blaring into my ear. That eerie laughter. It wasn't something that the Rina I knew could ever produce from her own throat. This thing that was pretending to be Rina, was this their real laugh? Unable to defend myself, the syringe Mion was holding drew closer, and that needle tip was waved in front of my face countless times.
大丈夫大丈夫。痛くないから痛くないから。
何をする気だよ。これは一体何の真似だよ。
ケイちゃん、何言ってんだか分かってんでしょ。
何が？俺には何が何やらさっぱりわからねえよ。
知ってるくせに今さらかまととぶられてもな。
わけのわからないことを言って俺を煙に巻くのはやめろ。
富武さんと同じ目に遭ってもらう。
No. Oh, no, not my throat! I like my throat. The same as Tomitake-san? I didn't really understand what she meant. What did that have to do with this syringe?
ケイチくん、とぼけてるね。うすうすは気づいてたくせに。
Rena whispered into my ear, laughing as if to admonish me. But even the way she spoke was repulsive beyond compare. Playing dumb? Me? About what? What do you mean, the same as Tomitake-san?
みんなはじめはひき逃げされたものだと思っていました。
Middle-aged man, stop talking and help.
意識を確かめるために近づいた警官はすぐに異常に気づきました。喉がね、引き裂かれていたんですよ。
ナイフとか？
いいえ、爪でした。
Nails? Nails isn't fingernails. With those gouged through. That's right, Tomitake-san had clawed out his own throat with his own nails and died. There's no way someone could die like that. So then, for that to happen...
薬物を疑いましたが、そういう類のものは検出できませんでした。
That's right. The police didn't find any drugs in Tomitake-san's system.
警察は富武さんの遺体から薬物は検出できなかったって言ったぞ。
Go away. The two of them laughed together with that sickening laughter. Of course they'd laugh. To assume that such a medicine didn't exist just because the police didn't know about it was completely foolish. Meaning, the drug that caused Tomitake-san to die in such a bizarre manner did exist. If Mion injected this into me, then that would probably be all the proof I needed. That would basically mean I'd end up the same as Tomitake-san. Become hysterical, scratching out my throat in my last moments, then die. For such an outrageous drug to exist. For Mion to be holding it. And that I was about to be injected with it. At that moment, I did not feel there was any need whatsoever to question it. What kind of idiot, when he's trying to dodge a ball flying straight for his face, has time to think of a reason as to why it's flying at him?
観念しなって。んじゃ。
Mion's actions lacked any gravitas, and that made it even more terrifying. There was none of the ceremony like when someone is sentenced to death. There was no hesitation at all, as if she were brushing her teeth. Mion reached out with one hand and grabbed onto my chest. It felt like electricity had run through the back of my head, and the entire world had gone dark. Did I stand up too fast? Or did someone hit me really hard in the back of the head? Having lost my sense of balance, I was assaulted by a wave of dizziness. Oh, don't stop there. Don't stop there.